Hello and welcome back. In this session, we are going to start building our bot and we'll focus on adding a suggested action activity to send a welcome message to our users. So if you remember from our tree structure in the last session, we're going to focus on modifying our activity handler to rename it to a RR and then modifying our on members added listener to add a suggested action activity and then send a welcome message to users. So let's get started. So here I have my Visual Studio Code open. Let's go to bot.js file which contains our activity handler, which is EchoBot. I'm gonna just start by renaming our bot to RRBot. So let's rename the class and then rename the exported module as RRBot. Then I'm going to go to index.js file. I'm going to rename pod.js file to rrbot.js. This will be our main dialog, which is activity handler. Now let's go to, okay, so Visual Studio Code should automatically start updating all the imports that we have in index.js file. So I'm gonna choose yes for now. Now if you go to index.js file, you'll see the main dialog import has been updated with the new file name. I'm gonna rename EchoBot to RRBot. Then also we need to rename the instance of RRBot as RRBot in small case, and then also rename the main dialog route to RRBot. Okay, so we have renamed our bot to set a base for our restaurant reservation bot development. Now let's go ahead and start modifying our welcome message in our RRBot activity handler. So right now we are just sending a simple text activity with a hello and welcome message. We are going to modify this to make it a little more user friendly and add a suggested action message which will hold some suggested tasks that the user can perform in the bot. So under activity handler, you can see we have two listeners present by default. One is on message and another one is on members added. We want the welcome message to be sent to user when a new member is added to the conversation. So I'm going to remove all this logic to send welcome message from inside the listener, and I'm going to create a new function and add all this logic to that new function. So I'm going to remove this and add two new functions. One is to send the welcome message and another one is to send a suggested action. So under send welcome message function, you can see we have the same logic to detect if a new member has been added to the conversation or not. If a new member has been added, the bot will send a welcome message to user. So I've changed the welcome message to welcome to restaurant reservation bot, and then I'm going to add the name of the newly added member. And then we are simply calling the send activity function of the turn context and then passing on the welcome message that we just defined up there. Once the welcome message activity is sent, we are also going to call the suggested actions method and pass the turn context to that function. Here we have initialized a reply with the message factory suggested actions method, and this is the most important part. You can provide an array of all the suggested actions which will appear as buttons once the message has been sent to user, and then you can add another string asking for user what he or she would like to do further with the bot. And after that we are just simply sending the activity which is the suggested actions method. Now one thing remains, we need to call this send welcome message function whenever a new member has been added. So I'm gonna just add this, and we need to pass the context of this term, and that's it. So we need to make sure that we always call the next function, because this will ensure that we are calling the next bot handler in the middleware chain once this particular operation is over. So we're good, guys. Let's save the code and see if our make reservation, cancel reservation, and restore address suggested actions appear when a user connects to the bot. So I have my bash terminal open here. Let's go ahead and start our bot. Gonna run npm start and enter. So our bot is up and running on the same port. I'm going to open my bot framework emulator, and we already have a saved bot configuration here. I'm going to open the same configuration, and there we go. So we're getting the welcome message, welcome to restaurant reservation bot, and then the username is getting reflected here. This username comes from, so here we're getting the welcome to restaurant reservation bot, and then the username is reflecting. So you can check in the activity JSON file that the username is getting fetched from there. Just check the conversation update, the first activity that was sent from bot to our emulator to our bot, and under that you can see, just open the from attribute, and here you can see that the name is mentioned as user. This is a default name in the emulator, you cannot change that. So we're going to work with user as the username. And then you can see we have the suggested actions listed here, which were make reservation, cancel reservation, and just want to see restaurant address. So similarly, you can add as many suggested action that you want to user to be quickly able to access and start working with the bot. And these comes as buttons, so you can just click on these, and then whichever suggested action you will choose, it will go to bot as a text message. So in this case, when we clicked on make reservation, it went to our bot, and then so in this case, when we clicked on make reservation, it went to the bot, and then it was processed under the on message listener of activity handler, and that's why we received the echo message back again. So that's all for this session. I'll see you in next lecture. Thank you, guys.